All right, give me 1 sec to pull up the case. I actually forgot to click my case. There we go. Oops, happens on occasion. So, this one will be fun. Mills versus Wyman. So, today we're talking about moral obligations. Basically, remember that whole rule about how past consideration is no consideration? Nope, sometimes it is. I love law so much because you just dig into these little nuances. All right, so Mills versus Wyman. Kid, well, he's not a kid. Son. Okay, there are 3 parties here: son, dad, doctor. He's not actually a doctor, but he's serving as a doctor in this case. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so you've got the son. Son is dying. Son is dying. Doctor takes care of son. Dad writes a letter after his son's death and says, "Hello, yes, doctor, I will pay for my son's care." His son is already dead. There's no more care to happen after the letter has been sent. The son has croaked. Doctor sues the dad because he's an asshole. Quick piece of advice, right? One of my professors said this is, bad guys get no breaks, okay? Don't do that. Don't sue someone if it's going to make you look like an ass, because you might win, or you might spend a lot of money just for a judge to say you're an asshole, so I'm making this one minutia ruling against you, and you can appeal, but they're going to go, oh, this guy's such an ass, we don't want to give him money. It's true. Judges are human. It's a controversial opinion, I know. Yeah, it's just like saying lawyers are human. We are not lizard men. So, right, there is no consideration here because the services have already been rendered. Only a promise with consideration can be legally enforceable. Sometimes a moral obligation can substitute a legal obligation, but not always. Rarely, right? When? Well, when can it do that? You need to have a pre-existing duty, some existing obligation that existed before the promise, but is no longer operative because of a law, right? And I'll list all the examples, but I want to point out why it doesn't apply in this case, and then we'll get to when it doesn't apply. Why does it not apply? Had the son been his responsibility, yes, but the son was not. The son was 25 or whatever. And so the dad does not have some obligation to take care of him, to pay for his stuff, right? So when are times that this kind of thing can apply, right? Is if there's a debt that's been barred by the statute of limitations, but you promised to pay for it, oops. Promises to pay a debt that was discharged in bankruptcy, oops, you got to pay for it. A promise made by a minor, there are iffy things. Contracts with minors is for later, so ignore that. But previous debts is the main example, right? And then, a promise that is made based off this existing moral obligation may be enforceable. And a promise, it can revive these dead contracts. The prior obligation that is revived by this promise is substituting for consideration. Only sometimes, though, right? In this case, it doesn't apply. There will be another case in just a minute that it does apply. To get all this down for law students, Restatement Section 71 is your best buddy. It'll help you out a lot. All right.